For Howdini.com, I'm Lisa Birnbach, talking about office romance with Sarah Ivens of OK Magazine. Okay, it is a temptation. These are the people you see every day, Sarah. How are you supposed to not fall in love with your coworkers?
I don't think you can you? You can't decide who you fall in love with. And you're right, I mean, you spend more time with people in the office than you do with anyone else. And new statistics show that something like 50% of American people do fall in love with people at the office and end up going out with them, getting married, whatever. So you just have to be careful about how you play it. You can't say to yourself, no, this will never happen, because then, you know, it's the whole Romeo and Juliet thing. It will happen even more. You just have to be sensible about how you carry on in the office.
Now, do you recommend, if you fall in love with a coworker and the office has a policy forbidding office romance, what do you do then?
That's an awful policy to have anyway. I can't bear that. But I think you have to kind of come clean to your human resources person, because you don't want them to come back with you, not only that you've had an office romance when you shouldn't, but that you've been lying about it.
Right.
So you don't want to tell the world. I mean, don't send out a company-wide email, oh, guess who I fancy, yeah, we're getting it on, right? You don't want to do that. But if it is company policy, then you do need to tell your boss and the human resources.
Now, it seems like it's going to be very exciting because you're going to try to be discreet and even secretive, right? But there must be some rules that are off limits. I would say don't have sex at the office.
Oh gosh, no, please.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you have these sort of Hollywood movie scenes where you're sort of like, all kinds of shenanigans are going on people's desks, and, you know, papers being thrown on the floor. That's not really realistic, because there's always like a cleaner popping around or someone staying late at work. It's not romantic. It's not very sexy.
There's
in
always
reality.
the comic little foil who finds you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So avoid that. Take it to your apartment. Don't do it in the office. Definitely not. There's a few things that it won't, you know, that's difficult, because if you're the boss and you're having a fling with someone that's, you know, in your team or whatever, then automatically, if people find out, they're going to think that this person's getting special favours because you're carrying on with them, or, you know, the person you're having the fling with will be sort of treated like a sort of toy boy or not taken seriously and being laughed at, and that's not good for their career. Or yours as a boss who's supposed to be treating everyone the same and it's all supposed to be neutral.
It would be better, I suppose, to have an affair with someone who's not in your direct line of reporting.
Absolutely, absolutely, because you shouldn't even be carrying on with your boss, really, because then things get muddled and you might have an equal relationship at home, but then how can you at work, how can you expect that you'll still be treated the same as other members of your team? So it's going to cause a lot of problems. The best thing to do, if you can help it, you know, can we help it? If you can, then don't go for someone within your team or your department. And then, you know, there's no conflict with other people in the department, and you've got more chance of just keeping everything separate.
Jealousy is going to be a problem now, isn't it? How do you manage the jealousy of your colleagues if you are, in fact, having a relationship with someone at the office?
You just have to play it all down. I mean, I've had a relationship with someone in an office once before, and I did notice the other girls were kind of jealous or weird or a bit, you know, asked too many. Suddenly, because it was with someone in the office, it became almost like a company-wide, you know, public property romance rather than being something private. You just have to really play it down and not go to every office party together holding hands. You certainly don't at Christmas parties that spend all night snogging each other. You know, keep it really low key, and don't even go out for lunch together every day. Try and keep it where you're still friendly with your other colleagues and you don't spend all your time talking about them. And definitely don't make inappropriate comments about your boyfriend that you may perhaps make if he didn't work for the same company as you.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Yeah, because, you know, we're all tempted to gossip on a Monday. Oh, he bought me this and he did this and then we did that.
Right.
Don't do that, because that's not fair on him.
Now, if you're involved with someone at the office, how do you manage to not spy on them or not, you know, notice that he talked to some pretty girl for way too long?
You know what? You can spy on them. We're women. We spy. Even if we're not in the same office, we'll have ways and means of finding out what our boyfriends are doing. Oh yeah, Facebook, MySpace, anything, we can do it. So you're going to do it. That's natural. We're nosy. And you shouldn't be flirting with a girl in the canteen.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So carry on, carry on.
Now, what if the relationship becomes serious? Should you stay at the same place of business, do you think?
I think it's healthier if you can get changed to a different location, or certainly asked to move teams if you're in the same team, but try and move to a different location, and then maybe it's time for one of you to move on anyway. You know, it's kind of healthy to change job every few years to move up the ladder. So a romance that's getting too much certainly suggests it's time to move on for one of you.
And do people who are married and work together seem to enjoy that?
I've only worked with a few married couples, and they kind of become, this is really rude, but kind of like the sad sacks of the office, because they do take in their packed lunches together and then they go off to the park and sit on a bench together, and it's kind of, they almost become like comical figures who are kind of regarded as the funny little couple. They stop being their own individual people in the workplace and become like the couple. And
it's not as sexy as when they were
it's
dating.
Not sexy. It's kind of sweet, and I suppose it's a good way of spending more time with your partner, because we all moan these days that we don't get enough time to spend with our beloveds because we're chained to our desks. So it's a good way of getting around that, but just make sure you remain individuals. You don't just become the company couple.
That is true. Little gnomes.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Sarah. For Howdini.com, I'm Lisa Birnbach.